Hi guys, Mr. Santo here. I'm gonna be doing a little planting and I thought I'd bring you along so you can see what I'm up to. So, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be planting some seeds. I need a nice sunny window. So I've got this great window here that gets mostly full sun during the day. So I'm just gonna clear a little space here, move some things around, and get my materials ready. All right, so I've got my materials here, so let me show you what I've got that I'm gonna use for today to get started with this planting. All right, so right here I've got a bag of Jiffy natural and organic seed starting mix. I prefer to not use any chemicals when I plant, so I try to stay as organic as I can. Over here, I've got two different types of peat pots. These are smaller ones, and these ones are a little bit larger. And the cool thing about peat pots are they're made from partially decayed vegetable matter, and it's a natural resource. And when I go to put these plants, once they grow into seedlings, into the ground, I actually can put the entire pot right in the ground. I don't even have to take the plants out and risk damaging the roots. And eventually the peat will just decay right into the soil. Over here, I've got a whole bunch of different seeds. So I've got a whole bunch of different types of flowers, nasturtium, marigolds, petunias, snapdragons. Now, in my garden, I actually prefer to garden for food. So I like to grow vegetables and things, but the flowers are an important part of the garden because this is what attracts butterflies, bees, and other beneficial insects to pollinate the food. So without the flowers, I might have a more difficult time growing the food that I want. So what I'm actually hoping to grow, one of my favorites, is some summer squash, some cucumbers, and this is a container variety. So I'm actually going to plant these ones on my deck in a pot, not in a garden. And these seeds were designed for that. And you can see that they are early bearing, which means that I'll get them quicker than some other types of cucumber varieties. They're compact, which means they'll stay small, which is why they're good for pots. They're disease resistant, and they're going to be a nice, crispy, full-sized fruit. Over here, I have another type of cucumber. These will eventually go in my raised bed garden, not in a pot. These are not compact. Some tomatoes, zucchini, another vegetable that I love. These are compact plants as well, so these will go on my deck in a nice large pot because although these are compact, they do get rather large. We've got some more container plants, Little Prince eggplants, some peas, snow peas, carrots. I'll try these again, but I never have much luck growing carrots. The last time I actually got some, they weren't much bigger than an inch to an inch and a half, which is not how long they're supposed to grow, but it's all I got. Some green onions. I have not tried growing these before, but I'll give them a shot this year. What else? These are some super bush container plants. And I might give winter squash a try this year as well. Okay, then the last item I have here are these little strips or markers, and these are going to go right inside of each peat pot to label what I'm growing inside, because once I put the seeds in and cover them with a little bit of soil. I'm not going to know which plant is which. So I'll be writing the names of each plant on these and then putting them into the peat pot with the matching seeds. All right, so let's get to planting. So I'm gonna open up my soil here. Just cut in the bag open. And then I'm gonna start with my small peat pots. Let's get a little math worked into this science here. So when I pull out a row of these smaller peat pots, you can see they've been divided into equal portions. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8. This has been split up into tenths, and I'm going to start by just bending this off. Took off 2 tenths, which leaves me with 8 tenths, and I'm now going to break this apart and just use 1/10 of the portion of the peat parts at a time. So I'm reaching into the bag here and just scooping some soil into it, and I'm gonna press it down in there. And if you can see, I'm only filling it about 3/4 of the way full. So another way that we use fractions in real life, let me get you a marker here to show you. So this is what I'm picturing as I fill it 3/4 full. If I were to split this into fourths, split it in half first, and then that section in half again, and then in half again. And so when I filled this up, it went about up to 1/4, 2/4, right up to 3/4, okay? Do want to leave a little room at the top, otherwise when you water it, the water's just gonna drip right over the edges, so we don't want that. All right, let me go fill up the rest of my little peat pots here. Again, about 3/4 of the way. Break off 2 more tenths. Scoop, fill. You don't have to fill them exact, it's just approximate, so just estimate. It's about 3/4. Fill up the rest. Okay, I'm using trays here to keep these on, just to keep the mess down a little bit, but planting's messy, so you just clean up when you're done. All right, that's good. So I'm gonna save this, the 3/10 here for a little bit later. All right, so I'm going to start with some flowers here. So I'm gonna start with these nasturtiums. So when you plant, it's very important that you read the back of the package. So the back of the package here, I think it's backwards for you, but what it does is it shows you how deep you need to plant it. It tells you how many days it's going to take to germinate, so till it pops up, and it tells you how tall it's going to get. So these nasturtiums will get about 12 inches tall, so that's the size of a ruler. Again, we got math in real life here. So about 12 inches tall it will grow. And the bees just love these plants, so this will attract a lot of bees. So it does tell me to put them about 1/2 to 1 inch deep. So I'm just gonna look at my ruler here. I could put it about 1 inch deep, or about 1/2 inch deep is fine too. I'm actually gonna put 2 seeds. This is what these ones look like. I don't know if you can see them there. I'm gonna put 2 seeds in each pot. You usually wanna do more than 1 seed, just in case you get a seed that doesn't germinate. Then all the time you spend watering it and preparing it doesn't go wasted. So I'm gonna put that in there, and then I'm gonna do 2 more in this peat pot. And then I'm just gonna take my labels and I'm gonna label them before I forget what they are. So these are nasturtiums. And I'm just gonna use one label, but I'm gonna keep both of these close together, only so that I don't run out of labels. So I'm gonna put it in one and put both of these on the tray together here. All right, so now I'm gonna do some marigolds, and look at these seeds, these tiny little things here, and I'm gonna put those, the package said just to put those in 1/4 of an inch deep. So if that's about an inch, and I'm estimating 1/4 of an inch is not very deep. And I'm just gonna push them under the soil just 1/4 of an inch and pat them in. And I'm gonna do 2 sets. Do one more seed here. Okay. And I already prepared my label for this one. So I'm gonna do one label for these two, but I'll keep them close together so that I know they're both marigolds. All right. Let me do one more flower for now. And that's going to be zinnias. So here are the zinnias. That's what they look like. These ones say they also want to be planted about 1/4 of an inch deep into the soil. Show you what they look like. Those look a little bit, where are they? There they are. They look kind of like, whoops. Little mishap here. Well, I'm not sure what happened to the end of my video here, so let me just show you what I thought I was recording, and I apparently wasn't. So, to finish this up, what I did is I got a bottle of water here, spray bottle, and I used it just to lightly spray the seeds, because you just want them to be moist and damp. You don't want them to be puddled and overwatered, because then the seed could rot out, or you know, just doesn't adhere to the soil the way you want it to. So I just gave it a few good sprays until the soil looked nice and damp. I stopped right before it started to puddle, so you can see here, nice and damp. And then what I did was I opened up the water bottle and I just poured some water here right in the bottom of the tray. And what this will do is it's going to keep these seeds in the peat pots nice and moist, and it will water from basically the bottom up. So that will help me from having to worry about them drying out. So what you're going to notice is that the peat pot is a light brown color. You can see at the bottom here where it's turned dark brown. That's because it's nice and wet. In a few hours, that water is going to travel all the way up the peat pot, and you're going to notice the whole pot is wet. And that will just keep the soil moist from the outside in. Also, I just wanted to show you too, if you are planting, you do want to make sure whatever you're planting in has a hole at the bottom, like this here, so that if you do overwater by mistake, you won't have to worry about damaging the seed. The excess water will just drain right out the bottom, because what will happen if you don't have a hole and you overwater is the seed could potentially rot, and you don't want that, because then that's going to waste you know, all the effort you put into growing your seeds, your seedlings. So I'm going to leave these here in my sunny window, and when I notice that the top starts to look dry, I'm going to give it another spray with my spray bottle. Once the water evaporates from the bottom of the tray, I'll just pour some more into the bottom to fill it up and keep these moist. In about 7 to 10 days, according to the packages, I should start to see some little sprouts coming up. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my planting, start doing some vegetables, and I will check back in with you later to update my seeds progress. It was good checking in with everybody, and can't wait till we get back to school to see everyone again, and I will check back in with you to update how this is coming out. Take care.